Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Good morning, Toastmaster, DTMs, and husband. You know how little kids ask a lot of questions like, why? But why? But mommy, why? I know it very well because I have 3 of them at home. I bet I know who encourages this a lot. It's Simon Sinek. He wrote the book, Start with Why. Actually, it's a favorite of mine. He says, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And what you do simply proves what you believe. Today I will tell you the story of my 3 whys, why I do what I do. My name is Madalina Iordache. I was born and raised in Romania, and 12 years ago I moved to the United States. I waited nicely for about 2 years for the recession to hit head on and promptly started a business. That was the wise thing to do. I'm a graduate of journalism, and even though I can write pretty well, when it comes to speaking, words don't flow quite as nicely like pen on paper. You see, when I was in journalism school, I always thought I'd become a news reporter and write for the paper. The paper. Has anyone read the paper lately? I also tried my hardest to avoid anything that had to do with radio, television, any kind of speaking, getting up in front of people. Didn't do any of that. And little did I know how useful these skills and all the communication skills I learned in school were going to come in later on in my new career in marketing. In the fall of 2008, I was working for a marketing and web design agency in Fort Lauderdale. At the ripe age of 26, being clueless about concepts like the economy and the recession, I decided to start my own marketing business. Why, you may ask? Because I was trying to prove my former boss that I could run a design studio way better than he could. Millennial much? By the way, I used to think that starting a business at 26 was such a cool thing. And now we have the 30 under 30, the self-made millionaires at age 12, and the entrepreneurs at age 7. I was basically late to the game. 5 years later, having added a few more people to my team, great, right? And a few more people to my family, you know, the ones that ask a lot of whys. I found myself with a different why. This time, I was no longer trying to prove a point, but I was trying to make sure that at the end of each day, we all got to take home a paycheck, including me. As a side note, I also made a very generous donation into the bank account of my divorce attorney. By age 31, there I was, broke, penniless, with a bunch of people depending on me. And had I had any sense, I would have called it quits and gotten a job, because after all, 50% of small businesses fail in their first 5 years. Another tidbit of wisdom I didn't know back then, so I kept going. About 10 years from my first adventures in marketing and web design, I realized that just being a great provider of services is no longer enough. And I'm not just talking about today's economy, where there's plenty of service providers out there, and you need to provide something more, value. I realized that what makes me feel more fulfilled is helping small businesses grow, helping them reach to more people, get more clients, and provide more value themselves. So for that purpose, I took it upon myself to become an educator. And that became my third why. I told you there were 3, right? I graduated from starting a business to prove a point in the midst of recession to making a business survive through my personal recession, and then finally to a higher purpose, that of becoming an educator. And that's what brings me here. Because what better way to become an educator, to teach people, inspire them, get through to them, maybe make a possible impact in their life, make a difference, than learning how to be a better public speaker. So I'm here to learn from all of you and from Pathways. Thank you.